How do you define progress in your journey with depression? It's something that I think is very important for people to clearly define for themselves. Otherwise, you don't know when you have made progress, and I find that to be the problem. Is when you have depression, it's you can never fear being too positive with yourself. That's clearly not the problem. But what you will often do is be too negative with yourself. You will never give yourself enough credit for the progress that you do make. That's often the problem. But you're always there to tell you when you've done the wrong thing, when you haven't done something good enough, when you're worthless and shit and all those things. You'll be right there to tell yourself that. But we often don't give ourselves credit for the progress we make. And so that is why I find clearly defining what progress looks like to be very, very important. And you really need to have a very clear definition for yourself. I myself have had to think about this a lot. And one thing I've realized about myself is that I have a perfectionist attitude towards me and my life. Unless I go through every single day beaming with joy, beaming with vitality and purpose and achieving all these things, then it just wasn't good enough. I expected myself to live up to this 100% image of myself every single day in every single way. Of course, I didn't consciously know I was doing this. I didn't consciously know and think that that was okay. But when I sat down and asked myself, am I making progress? And I said, well, look, I almost had a panic attack the other day. I didn't want to get out of bed today. I struggled to make lunch. If I look at all those things and I say, not making progress, and then I ask myself, well, what is progress? Progress is making some sort of improvement forward, I suppose. Okay, so have you not made any progress forward? And I thought, well, to be fair, let's say if I feel a panic attack coming on, I now know the tools to prevent it going into a full-blown attack. And I've put those tools into use in the times when I need them. And yet, I'm beating myself up for the fact that I felt one coming on. Somehow I've expected myself to never ever feel a panic attack coming on. And that's what progress looks like, apparently. So I think to myself, that's just unrealistic. I don't think even people who don't have depression give 100% of themselves to life every single day in every single way. It's just not possible. We just don't do that. We're not designed to do that. We're not these superhuman creations that go through life doing everything perfect. We cannot define ourselves by what percentage we give to our life and how good we are at things. It's insane. And so I realized, I said, I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to even give 90% of my energy to every area of my life. I don't need to. It's fine. It's okay. And so when I acknowledge that even that realization in and of itself is a sign of progress. So I may not be waking up every morning beaming and full of energy and purpose, but I am aware of the triggers in my illness, and I know the tools to soothe myself out of those episodes. That's progress. And I have to take credit for that. I have to acknowledge that is progress. And that's what you need to do, is acknowledge when you've made progress. Even if it's as something as simple as questioning your feelings or why you believe the things you believe. Question your mind, question your feelings. Ask yourself, why do I believe that? These things are progress. Every day you wake up, that is a step forward. That is progress. Because you are choosing to be present. You are choosing to have hope that today it could get better. So, always take the time to acknowledge your progress. Clearly define in your mind what progress actually looks like and be realistic. See, this is where having a psychologist or a therapist can be very handy, because they can make sure that your definition of progress is very clear and very realistic. Sometimes in our depressed mind we have this false illusion of what not having depression looks like, and for that kind of image, sometimes we think, I'll just never ever get sad. I'll do everything perfect. I'll be happy all the time. And that's just not true. So, clearly define what progress looks like. Make sure it's realistic. And remember to give yourself credit every day for the small steps. Until next time, peace.